Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and I'm joined today with Hubby.
Webcap.
And we are doing our second of the month, Live Advice and Critique. And we have 5 awesome pieces to do. We have Whirl, and he's burning her daughter.
Sounds bad.
I know, doesn't it? And Jenny is burning an otter and a kingfisher. Keep doing both of them.
She ought to be happy with her progress.
We have Burl and her wolf. And we have Scott and his guitar. So we're going to go ahead and get these started as people start coming in. Let's see here. And I think I'm going to start with Whirls since she was the first to post. But I do want to preface this with these are my opinions and how I would do it. If you are happy with how you're doing it, then you keep doing you. Because don't forget, you're awesome. You can do this. You're a pyro artist. Alrighty, so let's get the colored pencils out. Got all kinds of colors. And Whirl is asking, let me pull up my notes. This is her first portrait of her, and it's of her daughter. She would like to know where she should darken the shade. And also she pointed out that she messed up this eye a little bit. And she wants to know if she can change that or if she will need to sand it back. And she is currently darkening the hair, which I don't have an update on that photo. So we're going to get started. Now with the eye, I'm looking at it.
Which eye?
It would be the left eye.
The left eye. Wait, her left eye or left eye?
Looking at the camera. Looking on the screen. It's the one I'm pointing
That's
at.
the one you're pointing.
The one I'm pointing
I'm trying
at.
to get your directions 30 seconds in the future, okay?
Oh, okay. Hey, Burl, Greg, Ted.
Oh, you're going to update chat again.
I guess you do.
Every time.
I know.
Why?
I don't know. YouTube changed it.
That's
So the eye is a little off, and I was just looking at it.
Okay.
What?
Well, I was looking at it, and I feel like because
I think it's missing a line. And
there's
it's
a
just
dark shadow. I don't know if it's eyeshadow or just natural skin coloration that's underneath the eye, and she might be able to do something there to kind of bring that up and reduce the size of it.
Yeah, I think she's just missing a line. Now that I'm looking at it more, it looks like she's missing a line.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, the tear line is, I think, what's throwing it off.
Yep.
Because drawing-wise, it looks accurate. And she's starting off light, which she's doing a great job with that. And I think it is... And I'm actually going to use a pencil for this so I can get into the small area. What I think it is the tear duct line right here.
Yeah.
Is what's throwing it off for you.
I think that if that gets fixed, that would go a long ways.
Yeah, I do too. So we've got that in there now. And then trying to pick a color. With darkening carefully and softly because we don't want to give her a black eye.
No.
She's got beautiful pigment color in her skin, so we want to keep that.
I wish I had that skin. I feel like
The young skin?
Well, yeah, that too. That's not been buffeted by like winds and sand and snow. No.
Okay, so I think if you don't go heavy on this line.
That's amazing. That small change.
That small change, yep.
Oh, Troy's here.
Hey, Troy.
What's up, Rosef?
So
I'm still tired.
Okay, yeah, I'd be very careful with this line because you can go too dark and then it'll feel outlined. So just carefully, but in doing that, it has fixed her eye. And then once you put the other darks in, I think it'll feel more balanced right now because everything is light for you. It's hard to see.
Just chat. So Jenny is just popping in. She has to go someplace in a little bit. So
yes, I'm gonna hurry up and get to
so
Jenny's. I know what she's
got to
doing.
go, and then Thu Art Illustration is just popping in to give a wave.
Hey, Thu.
And Scott Sotak.
Hi, Scott. You know what? I'm gonna put Whirls on hold for a minute because I know what Jenny's going to do.
Okay.
And I do want to get it done for her.
Is that Scott with a guitar, Scott?
It is.
Hello, Scott.
Hello, Scott. Okay, first off, I'm going to throw up the Kingfisher. And I have to say, you're doing a fantastic job on these feathers. I do not suggest you change anything on how you're putting them in. Continue to put these lines in the way you are, because then you can go back and shade to separate and whatnot. But how you're using the 12 skew is, you're right on. What? What did I do?
Ted's comment. You cut me deep, Ted. It's a little too close to home.
I would suggest maybe a little smoother on the beak. And
oh, that's beautiful.
I know, she's doing a beautiful job. I really don't think.
Wow, and you said don't
keep doing what she's doing.
Oh my God.
And maybe smooth
Jenny,
out the
I wish
eye.
I could get that praise from my own wife.
Well, she wanted to know about the feathers. Okay, so I think smoothing out the burn in the beak, and of course darkening it in the areas. He's already drawn this out. I grabbed the photo, but I didn't print it out. So he already has an idea of how this beautiful bird looks. So I would keep putting in your strokes that you've got going, and then go back, and you can use like the 18M or the 18S. Oh gosh, why do we have to get animal noises?
What?
To shade in.
Tired.
I know you are. To separate and put in your shadows. You'll still see your lines, they'll still come through, but that way you're not having to sit there with the skew and put every single line in. You could do your feathers the way you're doing them here, and then just go back and do the shading, and that will save you hopefully some time. You'll still have your texture, because not everything, I'm just kind of hitting some spots just to show, because not everything is going to have this kind of shading in it. So I think you're safe with that. She also wanted some ideas for the background. Now this is how the piece is. She's got good composition. What are you doing? Oh, no, gosh.
No. Hey, I didn't see that. Legos for life. Don't call me a blue falcon. Come on, man.
Okay. Back to this, because I know Jenny's in a hurry. I know she's got things she's got to get taken care of. So just going through and shading. I mean, really? Where you're at right now, you're off to a wonderful start. As for the background, I don't know. What would you do?
What I do?
Yeah, the back. This is what she's got laid out right here.
Well, it doesn't have a background.
No, it's a solid color. This is the original photo from Pixabay.
You know, I think because the way that I work generally in art, here, bear with me. Okay. Is that no matter what medium I'm working in, I work from the background out, so that I don't have to worry about, you know, layering stuff or not layering stuff or whatever. But I mean, I know pyrography is a little bit different. You could definitely put in a background, but I think that this piece is so clean. I don't even think it needs a background. That's my opinion, professionally.
You're gonna have this as a light medium tone.
Oh, I made the call of the blue falcon. That's true.
Oh, but we've got a white branch, a light white branch. So I would not put really any detail. Let's see here. My printout is dark because I think if you did a little bit of maybe some dark and faded out light, but not going all the way, just let's see here, just a little bit blurred and a gradient out. That way where your lights are, they'll stand out more. And it would kind of frame it. Just, yeah, I don't think you'd need much more than that, really. It's just enough so that you can see the branch. You don't have to worry about it standing out. You can keep that lighter. And then a bit over here, because we got some ruffled feathers out here that are much lighter, and I'm sure you want to keep. You just kind of fade it out a little bit. And I think that's really all you would need, if you even wanted to do that. You've already done a beautiful job, and this guy definitely stands by himself. So that would be really all I would do. Just enough to make that branch stand out. And that feather over here, you've got some lights here, but they're darker than what the wood is, so you don't have to worry about that. This will end up being darker, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I think that's about all I would do. And it would be just enough to balance it out without taking as much time. Good practice for gradients, and kind of ground the bird in the piece. What?
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. So that's all I would do. Beautiful bird. You're doing a wonderful job, Jenny.
Yes, that's amazing.
Definitely keep that up. And then you probably expected more, but there's just not more.
I'm sorry, you're so good. Beryl says a gum tray, and Brent Seaboyer is here.
Hi,
and
Brent.
Says howdy, all.
Howdy. Alright, so this is her wonderful otter. I don't know if she's gotten any further on this one. I just pulled the last one that I saw. She wanted to know about the background. And I just went blank. Hate that. I know she's in a hurry. I don't. Mainly it looks like the background. That and she has started. Actually, she's got another photo. I didn't grab it, I guess, where she has started negative burning in some of the grasses. I totally missed that one. Well, that stinks.
What?
She's got a better, or not a better. She's got a further photo than what I've got here.
Oh, okay.
Pat's asking how he can get into the live chat.
Hat?
Yeah, here. He may be on mobile.
Okay. And
on mobile, down below the video is the chat. You have to scroll all the way down the bottom. On PC, it is going to be on the right, I think. Actually, I don't think I think he's here, so hopefully that was enough to tell him.
Okay.
Okay, so for the otter, I remember vaguely something about a light tail. I wish I would have grabbed that other photo. What does stand out to me is this guy in the back could go darker. So I would darken this up a bit. And then you got all this wonderful texture, because he is very regal in his sitting. I definitely want that. I would want that to stand out more. So I know the rocks that he's on have a lot of texture, but I think we can actually darken some of this up a bit more. Because looking at the black and white, we do have some highlights, but I don't think, and this would be an artistic choice, that every part of the rock is completely necessary, because you've got all this wonderful texture, it kind of gets lost. It's almost like too much for the eye to focus on. So I would kind of smooth those out just a bit. If you wanted to keep the highlighted area of the rock, go for it. But I would kind of blend these out a little bit. Alright, let's see here. So we have our light source coming this way. We can tell that by the rock and how it's shaded. Plus, he's sunning his belly. So, it's another clue. And, let's see here. Darken up these. I don't see them as prominent in the photo. I love these leaves right there. I think you can actually keep those like that. Alright. And this rock. Now I remember her saying that she liked the lighter tail because she was going light on, and I wish I would have grabbed the right photo. I didn't see the other one. Sorry, Jenny. Alright. So, just smoothing some of these out so that they're more in the background and framing the otter, since that's what he's sitting on, is his throne. And now she started negative burning some of the grass in, and I think if I remember right, she had a little bit of darkness up here, which I liked, and a little bit of darkness up here I liked. So I think you should maybe frame it with a little bit of darkness down at the bottom so that the land kind of, you know, fades away into the darkness. I think I'm going to grab my phone real quick and see if I can pull up the other photo. That at least would help. Okay, and then she's got some negative burning of some grasses. And to be honest, I like how she's done it.
It says like it could almost be a companion piece to that one piece that you did for the AAC.
Yeah, I showed her
yeah.
that piece. I know her feeling on.
Like this could be a
sorry,
can't find words right now. This could be a.
Let's see here. Okay.
Because you had the other otter as like he was like a scholar, right?
That was my original.
Oh, did it come out like that? I can't remember. Here. Oh, it didn't.
No, it didn't come out like that. Okay, so she started putting the grass in. I don't know where I got the darkness. I might be thinking of a different piece. Sorry, Jenny. I like how you're negative burning the grass.
Mm-hmm.
So I would keep doing that, but I would not do the full background. I would kind of just let it be. And where am I getting the dark from?
I don't know.
I don't either, because I liked it wherever I saw it.
I don't know what's going on.
At this point, obviously, I don't either. I'm looking to see if she's got another update photo that she posted. Jenny, do you have another one? Help. Kind of floundering here. I don't see it. I'm scrolling through the group real quick. Anyway, so she negative burned the grass, which is really good. And Pat's trying to come in. I guess he had to create, or he needed a Google account to comment.
Oh.
So I would keep doing your negative burn, leave it like that. And actually, since I did that, and it's not in her piece, I don't... If you don't like the corners, scratch that. I don't remember now where I saw it. I look at so much art. But I do think... Oh, I didn't look at to see how far she got on the tail. I'm bad today. Sundays are different for me. Let's see.
We're very tired.
Yeah. Been up since 6.
I am very tired.
Alrighty. Okay, so we do have the tail in. And I do think the tail could be darker. Guess what? Because in the piece, it is a separate entity from the rock, and by keeping it lighter, it kind of fades into the rock. And especially where the tail and the rock meet, I think it should be darker. Kind of hard because I didn't pull the right photo.
What the heck?
What's wrong?
Oh, okay, we're just behind. I'm looking at the live stream and I'm hearing you draw, but I haven't seen anything move on the screen in a while.
Oh.
Anyway.
So I would darken this guy up. And again, you can use the 18M or the 18S to do it because you've already got your strokes for the fur burnt into the wood. So it'll just darken the top area that isn't indented because of the burn. There we go. And I have to ask because this was hard for me, and part of it was because of the photo, even though I took the photo. Did you have an issue with the paw? Because, and trying to get it to stand out? Because I did in my piece.
I don't think you ever voiced that to me.
No. So, yeah. I would darken the tail. And let's see here. We've got his other foot, or her other foot, down here. But I think in smoothing out the burn of the rocks, you can still keep that texture, but in smoothing out and creating a bit of a frame around the otter, I think we'll have it feeling the way you'd like it to feel. But like this grass here, I kind of like where you've negative burned areas. So I think actually you should keep them like that. I think it gives some visual interest and breaks up the darks. So I would definitely keep your negative burn the way you have it. I do like that. And even some of the rocks at the bottom, the little ones, could be negative burned as well. Just to fill it in. Let's see here. I think. And then when you're ready with the otter, I found actually using a bit of color pencil, white color pencil helped. Just to stand out the really bright. Now this isn't sharp, but it's a pastel pencil. So just a little bit, like in the eye. On the brightest part of the fur, maybe. But leave the rest. Let's see here. Actually, I'm off. Sorry.
Scott, Beryl already answered the question, but just for,
what's that?
Scott wants to know how long or how often you do the critiques.
Once a month. Well, actually, I guess technically twice a month.
And Beryl answered that already, but I think also one of the things that drives it is the amount of people seeking critiques.
Yeah.
So I suppose that I don't want to I can't find words. I don't want to commit you to anything else, but if we had a flood of people wanting critiques, I'm sure that we would do it more often. But it seems like the regular flow is about twice a month.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, I would go darker with this one. Continue your negative burning, but don't do the whole board. I think the negative burning of your grass kind of fuzzes it out and puts it in the background. So I would do a little bit of that and leave it. Maybe do a little darker on this side to frame it out. And I think it will look fantastic. It already is looking fantastic. So just keep going. I know how hard the fur is for the otter. Deep breath, and probably a good thing that you switched over to the kingfisher just to give your eyes a rest from this guy. You are doing a beautiful job, and I would keep it up. Any questions, Jenny? She may have already left.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I haven't seen her in chat in a little bit.
Yeah, beautiful job, Jenny. Beautiful job.
Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized my ringer is not off.
Alright, so we're going to go back to Whirl now. Sorry, Whirl. I don't think you're in yet.
Yes, right. Yes. Kurgan says, don't forget to like.
Yes, please. Alrighty. So, we were talking about the eye, and I think it's the tear duct line that's throwing you off and making the eye feel bigger than it is. Once you put that tear duct line in, it evens out the feeling of the eye. So I don't think you need to sand.
I don't think so either.
And then, but we definitely, as you darken this, follow the direction. Oh, I'm crumbling. Why am I crumbling?
I'm melting.
Follow the direction of the eyebrow hair, because if you are off a little bit, it will throw off your eye. Because our eyebrows frame our eyes. So, as you're darkening things, do I want to know?
Ted says, I want to squish that otter with love.
I know, this is a cute otter. So, when you're ready to darken, let's see here, that's a highlight. But I think because looking at the highlight isn't because of a light that is shining on her. The highlight is more of what she's looking at, the phone. So it shouldn't be like a high highlight. And getting the pupil right in the middle does make a difference. Probably should have sharpened my pencils. And here, I thought I was ready. He's got beautiful brown eyes. And I just threw that off. But it's not going to be the highlight that you would think it would be. Again, that's because she's looking at the screen of her phone. So it's not... It's just a reflection. And I think sometimes those reflections can throw things off. So maybe just muting it. You don't have to fully remove it, but mute it will make the eye feel like the shape that it is. Now let's see here. The pupil, or the iris of this eye is actually a little bigger.
You know, and it's important when you're doing portraits to, and I'm guilty of this all the time, just ask Valarie, but the eyes are like, they're always going to be a focal point, and if they're off at all, then you can end up making your person look cross-eyed, or potentially like they've had a head injury if you've got different size pupils.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful about that.
Alright, so I darkened up her eyelashes a little bit.
Not that any of that applies to this. I'm just saying in general.
No. Now, remember for, though we see the white of the eye, it's not truly white.
Yep.
And that is going to throw your eye off as well. So we're going to shade that in a little bit. That white can make them look scared. So by darkening that a little bit, so the eye is not as big as you thought it was anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just needed to go just a little further.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny, a small change.
Okay.
So Scott has a question, and actually Troy answered him with a very interesting answer.
What's that?
Scott says, I have never done a realism portrait. I want to start one. What is a good starter one? Victor actually said Albert Einstein makes a good starter. Lots of great contrast. And he does have a lot of interesting detail in his face.
A leaf.
What?
A portrait?
Portrait.
Oh, a portrait. You want a person's face that has interest. Wrinkles have interest. Smoother skin, like what we're looking at with World's Daughter, is actually harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, Albert Einstein would not be a bad idea.
Yeah,
but be ready to get frustrated.
Yeah, your hair might look like Albert Einstein by the end.
Yes, it might, but that's okay because you will learn a ton from that. All right, I've got to turn this so I can get to her other eyebrow.
I think what's interesting about people with a lot of wrinkles and facial features is it gives you more points of reference, so you can get more accurate. When you have somebody who has like a perfect complexion, like World's, what is the relation here?
Daughter,
like World's Daughter. You know, you have to really landmark those positions of the features because she doesn't have a lot of other features. Like she doesn't have a lot of blemishes in her complexion or anything.
Remember, wrinkles mean experience.
Yeah.
The person's had experience.
That's what I tell myself every day.
Yep, me too.
Yep.
Alright, so we got her eyebrows a little darker, and in doing that...
You don't have wrinkles.
Who, me?
You have smile lines.
I got wrinkles too.
No, you
yes,
don't.
I do. Let's see here. Let's get that right.
I've got environmental damage.
Alright, so we got her eyebrows in. So just by adding the tear line and darkening her eyes a bit, putting in the eyebrows, this eye does not look like you thought it did.
Mm-mm.
It has now balanced out, so you don't have to sand anything. I don't think at all.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Now, on teeth, one thing to remember is, again, they will always, they are not perfectly white, even if you pay a lot of money for them to be perfectly white. You really don't want to outline in between them, because then they can look more like Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
And shading. Actual shading in between the teeth will...
Well, and always make sure... I'm sorry, am I adding too much stuff in?
No.
Okay, I'm tired and I may be stepping out of place. No, I just make sure that the teeth are going to recede back towards the corner of the mouth and getting that gradation and shadow back towards the sides of the mouth is really important.
Let's see here. She's got highlights in the teeth. Again, that's from her phone. It's not actually...
Yeah. I was just complimenting her, Victor. I'm not what you say.
Do I want to know?
No, he just said that I was maybe being the kind of person who compliments someone too much.
Oh.
Anyway, you have an Ozarks. Said just ordered the Colwood Super Probe and learning from you, Valarie. Thanks so much for the tips.
You're so welcome. Oh, I wish we would have talked sooner. Well, I hope you're happy with this Colwood Super Pro 2. What I would suggest, I feel so bad now, is picking up some Optima pins.
They're compatible?
Yes.
Mm.
Yep. They are compatible. I feel so bad. I gotta hurry up. I'm working on a giant video. Very detailed video.
Jesus, so much. Yeah, like so detailed.
Yep. On wood burners.
Like, Val's been quoting statistics and things, which hurts my brain, but...
Alright, so, I'm just... Right now, her teeth look dirty. And it's because of the color pencil that I used. A bit of gradient burning on the teeth and softening up the line in between. This is color pencil, so it's going to look grainy because I can't smooth it out on this paper.
Yeah.
So ignore the grainy part. Well, Ozark, I hope you've joined the group so you can share your art. Okay.
Well, he says, well, it's kind of be an upgrade from what he has now. So.
There you go. Best way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so shading on her skin. Now her smile lines. Let's see here. We want it soft. She does need some shading. Trying to get this soft as I can. Chin. So, now remember the bottom lip will have more highlight on it, and the top lip, because it tends to be turned down, though he is smiling, tends to be away from the light. So we darken bottom of the lip a bit.
How would you, I have a technical question.
Mm-hmm.
So you're burning this, so then would you suggest then, like what tool would you suggest to be doing these, like, these minor and smooth gradations, and then what heat setting as well? Like, what's your technique for getting this kind of, like, smoothness?
If I remember, I'm trying to remember, I think Whirl has a razor tip.
Okay.
I think. So, let's see here. This part of the lip fades out. I'm thinking it would be shader, obviously. And it depends on the heat setting of her burner.
Would you say, like...
If I was using the Optima, I would use... For me, I would use the 18M. And right now, I'd be on right about 1.5, because I can always darken. It's easier to darken than it is to lighten.
So I guess just in general terms, you'd say, like,
too far.
Like, just try and build up very gently.
Yes, and that's why she started off so light, and in doing that, it really helped her.
Yeah. And then, like, what is the 18M in layman's terms?
I don't sphere know. Shader.
Okay.
It is the medium
so it's
sphere
like
shader.
A flat kind of piece thing?
This one, they're all flat. Sphere shaders are all flat. Okay. So, yes. Yes.
Yeah, because I have to... I know that, like, most people in chat know exactly what you're talking about, but
that's good.
I was telling Val the other day, it's like, she comes in and she's like, there's like a 3.5 difference, in there's a 15-degree difference in the tip of the 18M and the whoopity floopity in the hammer jamba, and I'm like, huh? What? I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. Oh, Pat's in chat. He's testing. Just testing. Hi, Pat.
You got in there.
And Ozark says, Optima pens, you say?
Optima pens. In fact, the maker of Optima is in chat.
Yep.
Right now. That would be Pat.
Yep.
Welcome, Pat. Did not expect you to show up.
You said welcome, Pat, and
Ted, not that kind of Pat.
Ted's just said welcome, Pat, at the exact same time. It looked like it was like speech to text.
Okay, so I don't know how your hair's looking, but your hair is going to frame her face, and that's going to make a difference on how you pull the shading in from your darker areas here. That's how I do it. So we got to get that in, blend it out smoothly. Now, on her eyes, you got that dark. You've done a really good job. I know it feels overwhelming, but you've really started off very well.
I have a question. So I noticed that on Whirl's piece, like the hairline at the top, there's a little bit of a peak, and in the reference photo, it looks more.
What are we looking right here?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about this here, right there. But maybe I just don't see it as well.
These are the baby hairs.
Okay.
Of the forehead.
Gotcha.
You know how?
Yeah, I do. I just wasn't seeing it very well, so I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen the where she's worked on the hair and darkened it, so I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
How that's looking.
And like sometimes when I'm doing portraits, especially if like I've got multiple reference photos, like I will like if I like the hair in one photo, you know, you can get away with a lot more with hair than you can with other parts of a person's portrait. And sometimes I will like alter it just a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what was going on. If she was doing that, or if...
No, it's just the baby hairs.
Okay.
And so think of it as if you were using pencil to draw out this portrait. The same place that you would shade with the pencil, it's pretty much where you're going to shade with your burner.
Yeah.
So... Though, I will admit, with pencil, it's easier to blend.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The ear. The shading. Oops. That was bad. So as you add these darks, things will start balancing out more. And what you thought might be a little off won't be off anymore.
Pat has a comment. He says, wouldn't using a black and white grayscale photo be easier to work with versus color?
Oh,
do you have that?
I normally do. I just forgot to switch this photo out to black and white. It was the first one I printed, and I completely spaced doing it.
I wonder if Whirl is doing that.
Whirl tends to do, I think, black and white with her. Scott says, I have a versatile right now. Can someone point me in the right direction to what you guys use? Sorry I'm asking so many questions. And Beryl just replied, Scott, this is the world of Optima. Yes. My takeover has started. No, it's not
Ozarks has a question, and it might be answered with your video. And I don't know if you want to answer it right now or if you want...
Go ahead.
He wants to know, what's your worst complaint with the Super Pro 2?
It doesn't have a low end range that I would like. Let's see here. I guess I can share the board real quick. Maybe if I can find it. What did I do with it? I already have a board that I have burned out for the video. That is a... Oh, sorry. Walking away from the camera because I couldn't remember. I know, I couldn't remember where it was. Where you can see the differences in burns. Oh, alright. You know what? Before I continue, Whirl, keep doing what you're doing. You're not as off as you think you are. And he is looking beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to see this portrait done.
Oh, yeah.
I would not, if it was me, I would put a solid-ish gradation for her shirt. I wouldn't put any pattern in. And the shading, the black and white photo would definitely help. I just didn't do it because brain farted.
So, I see that... Oh, never mind. I'm getting mixed up with the past and the
Yeah, I've got it in my
future.
lap. I wanted to finish with Whirl because I've already put her off twice now. So just keep lightly shading and building that tone up.
Yeah.
And it will be easier for you to judge what, especially, I really like to see her hair because her hair is what's going to define how much darker her skin goes.
And dark hair is always interesting too because it's different than doing lighter tones because you have to be careful.
But she has some good highlights in here,
yeah.
And I think that's really going to help. Definitely pay attention to your highlights. So, alright, so to answer, beautiful job, very proud of you, Whirl.
So when you say it lacks the low range, are you going to explain that?
I am.
Okay.
Okay, so the Coalwood Super Pro is here on the top. I use the oval spoon, which is not a smooth tip, and I use a small, heavy round flat, whatever the world they call it. And here I've used the Optima large spoon, medium spoon, and the 18. I marked it S, but it's actually the medium. I gotta fix that. Anyway, so ignore that. That's the 18M. And what I mean by low end is I can get even lighter burns. Of course, it also depends on the thickness of the tip. But I can get lighter burns with the Optima than I can with the Coalwood.
So it looks like the Coalwood goes like from light, like the transition from light to dark happens really quickly.
What I should do, this one is the Coalwood. There we go. And that one is the Optima.
Okay.
It may be hard to see, and I will do more detail.
No, I can see it
in
clearly.
The video.
I can see it clearly.
The pins for Optima are much more comfortable. Grab Coalwood. I hate the Coalwood clips. I hate them. There we go. Alright, so this is the oval that I use. This is the top one for Coalwood. These are the difference in the pins. The length of the tips. I don't have any other tips I can access quickly. The cork. And I've also had some issues with their with one of their tips. And I don't like being accused of things or called a lawyer. So
I think that they're gonna have to wait for the video.
Yeah, but bottom line, Optima performs better. It is more comfortable and costs less. So
Pat just clarified that too as well. He said Optima's low end can be adjusted. Coalwood's can't be unless
you have to actually open up the
exactly.
the box
He says
too.
Unless you want to open their box.
And by opening the box, you can avoid the warranty, unless they specifically tell you to do it.
Or get electrocuted. Which...
Well, if you do it, you do it on.
Huh?
Don't do it that way.
Oh.
But what I'm worried about is they saw my other video on it and missed the Optima review, and I feel bad. That's why I need to hurry up with this damn video. Okay, so we are on to Burl's woof. He wants to know more about the fur and the background ground. I think that's what you wanted. Looking at your fur, I'm really glad that you, because this is a pattern that she bought that didn't come other than as a drawing. And she went out and found 2 references that were very close to the position of the woof drawing. Now, I did notice that the woof drawing's a little off, but that's my eyes. So I wouldn't stress about that. But we've got our woof at night, and we got ground here. On the background, I was actually thinking you could bring this line down a little bit more. And she used a torch to smooth out some of this background. She was having issues with that.
Oh, okay.
I would bring this line down I think. And I would actually burn in, give the impression of rocks, so the top would be lighter from where the moonlight is hitting it, and then you've got dark. This is going to be hard to explain.
I just want to close the loop on this last comment.
Okay.
Ozarks says, I see the difference that you showed. He says, I see it clearly as well and appreciate you taking the time.
Oh,
very much appreciated. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I think putting in just the feeling of some rocks and maybe some undetailed dirt would kind of fill this in for you. And you can go darker because it's nighttime. So that will help. And then for your wolf, I would darken up some of these lines. And I would also, I know the drawing doesn't go all the way down, but you've got a great reference photo. And see, unfortunately, this is made to look like a shoulder, and we're not quite at the shoulder. The shoulder would be a little further down.
I gotta go let mine out.
I know. The shoulder would be a little further down, but I would bring down your wolf all the way to the bottom of your wood. And in doing that, you won't feel it so much as a floating head. I know that's more work, but I would bring it down a bit. Now I gotta think of another story to tell. He left the room. Yes, I know. I know. Alright. Now, because we've got the moon, this side, technically, for the wolf, would be darker. So, I would continue. Even with it being lighter fur, you would still have, it would still be darker. Because the moon is hitting the outside of our wolf. So you definitely have it lighter. Following the first strokes, of course. It would be lighter here. This would be lighter. Have a little bit going along the top. Our nose would have a highlight. Now the teeth would not be this light. Let's see here. Would have a little bit of light here. And of course you got your whiskers coming out that you got out. So you'd have the light here. You'd also have the light on this side. It may not be as thick, but you would have the light here. Let's see here. And then where, because we're following the wrinkles of the skin, the muscle, the bone structure, that is what's going to dictate how dark some of it would be. Let's see here. Now the snout. One thing that stood out to me is the darkness of the mouth right here is a little off. And when dogs and wolves' mouths are open, that area is darker. You've got that, but you would also have darker teeth. Those would blend in. There would not be a whole lot of white showing on that. Now I understand this is a different angle compared to the reference photos because it's turned more this way. That's why we're seeing more of the top of the head, and I have not looked at chat because I got focused.
Oh my god.
What did I miss?
Ted says, I can't believe you share such an embarrassing secret about Jason. It's because he left the room.
You weren't supposed to tell him that.
What the heck? What are you doing in here? I'll leave for 5 minutes.
Don't know. So let's darken up some of this. Let's see here, some of the white. And I think for yours, you could actually use a little bit of white acrylic paint.
Oh my God, what did you tell them? What did you say?
I'm sorry.
What did you say?
I'm sorry.
Tell me what it was. Chat. What did they say? What did she say?
They won't tell on me.
You guys are the worst.
Okay, so the ear is off.
The worst.
Which ear? Because if we look at the drawing, the ear is coming out like that. Yours is going down. Though, thinking about it, I think yours is actually more... Looking at that drawing. Let's see here. Which way would this go? This would be the back of the ear. What you could do is pull it down a little bit like this. You'd have more of that angle. And bring this part of the head down. You wouldn't have to sand anything. I think, yeah, it's a little shading.
I think you guys are a bunch of fibbers. That's what I think.
Don't know what you're talking about. Alright, so I think you're right on the shape of this ear. The other ear is a little more rounded than a Wolfseer tends to be. So I think you got that. So we'll just follow your lines. See, sometimes it's hard when you are using somebody else's pattern.
Yeah.
And that's why I haven't done any, though I am working on the community piece. That's honestly why I haven't done a pattern book, because of what I have in mind may throw somebody off. And I don't want to do that.
Okay, Moon's just barking because she wants a snack.
Yeah, she can wait. So, I think you've got your clumps in the right spot. I just think you need some more. More shading.
Tell you that, you know, it can be a hard thing. I've been fighting with my wolf for freaking months. So.
And he cringes every time I walk in the studio.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Why? Because you see what's wrong with it immediately. I'll be like, that looks pretty good. And then Val walks in the room. She's like, left eye's off. I'm like, ugh!
Sorry. But right here, we wouldn't be seeing the shoulder until more down here. And even then, it's questionable. This is more of a, okay, so that's that wrinkle in the fur. And then we've got another wrinkle in the fur. Okay. There we go. I'm going to go back a little bit. Okay, this is feeling more right. There we go. I haven't done a wolf in years. There we go. So just trying to get our shapes right will make a difference. Now, following the direction of the fur, I think if you just bring it down more, pop this up a little bit, because that's how the fur is going up.
Follow the direction of the fur. That's how people find our house.
Yeah, no doubt. Follow the direction of Zena's fur.
Yeah. You know, Alana stopped me today when I was in the coffee shop. She's like, so what's up with that? And I'm like, what? She's like, your pants. I'm like, oh. That was before we were talking at the counter. I was
Gotcha.
like, all right.
So just following those lines makes, and adding them in, makes a difference. Let's see here. It is going to need more darks, but you've already got your base down, so I don't know that it's much more work.
Yeah. I'm watching you chat. You're conspiring against me.
You've already cut it down. Looking good.
You're in thin ice, chat. Valarie.
I didn't do nothing.
That's your real name.
I didn't do nothing. Let's see. Alright. Yeah. So I would just do dark burning. You may not want to do this, but I think I would do some dark burning with lighter on the top just to give the illusion of rocks, but without like heavy detail. I don't think you need any detail. It'd be dark.
Are you sure it's a rock?
Well, it could be whatever you want it to be.
Are you sure it's not a rock
No,
lobster?
I know where you're going.
Rock lobster?
Stop it. Yes, I did that.
Sorry. You hit me.
I love tacky.
Rock lobster?
Alright. This needs to come out further. I'm so glad that you pulled these other references so that you had something to look at. That was really good to do. Does Burl have any other questions?
No.
Get over to Scott.
No, I don't think so. Not yet. We'll have to wait in 30 seconds.
Let's see here.
See if she has any more questions.
I do think the nose here would be darker.
Thank you, Ted. Lobster.
Don't help him.
Skidoo-doo.
Don't help him. Yeah, the nose needs to be a little darker.
Rock.
Okay.
Lobster! I'm sorry. I'm tired.
I know you're tired.
Please don't give us a thumbs down because of me.
That's probably already happened. Are you kidding? There we go. Bring some of this down. I'm just waiting for Burl to see if she has any questions.
I don't see anything yet.
You're doing awesome, Burl. And I think this... Is this basswood or is this maple? Because I know he's been burning a lot of maple. In fact, he sent me some maple for me to try.
It looks like wood.
I've had the same amount of sleep you have. Actually, I've had less than you.
Well. Okay.
We can go a little darker, but you have to follow the snout for the whiskers. That can go a little darker. Bro may be cooking dinner. He's not answering. But I think on this side of the wolf, you could go darker. I think bringing it down to the bottom of the board definitely makes it feel more connected. So I would do that. You're doing awesome following the different wrinkles of the fur. Your tree, I think you did a great job.
It's very nice. Also, I think that it looks like a wolf.
It does look like a wolf.
So,
you can tell it's a wolf. That's something. Are you being jealous over there?
Maybe.
Alright. So if Burl doesn't have any more questions, we are going to move on. But I do feel I can see the moon. Yay.
What? Oh, yeah.
Having it light down at the bottom definitely throws it off. Oops, sorry. Alright, our last one for the night. We got Scott. He is working with a skull and roses on guitar. Now, I noticed that the bridge and the pick guard are put back in place. Were things removed from the guitar in order to sand? Because that would be your first start. So I'll wait for Scott to let us know. Drink a coffee. Alright. So, looking at it, if you've put the bridge back in place, I don't see, and of course there's a piece of paper, the pattern lying over. We've got the sound hole, got the pick guard, got the bridge. I don't know if the bridge is attached back to the guitar or not, or if it's just laying here. on the composition of or the layout of this, you got a wonderful job with the mouth. I wouldn't want to cover that up.
That's a pretty cool design.
It is. It's a really cool design. But I think the mouth is extremely important to this piece. Yeah. And where the bridge is landing completely covers it.
Yeah. I can see like where he might have been trying to get the best angle to get everything in there.
Well, I'm wondering, even with the bridge here, let's see here, somebody, if they're playing right-handed, I would actually look at putting it, I think the ear could maybe go under the bridge. So putting it more this way so that you have the mouth down here, I think would make it feel. And that way it's also a more upright for the audience, if there's an audience or whatnot, for photos. But I think the bridge covers even this way. I think we're okay.
Kind of looks like it's eating the bridge.
Yeah, right now it's like Pac-Manning.
No.
And this way you also get to keep you get to keep this leaf, which will be really cool. And if I
he says the bridge does not come off.
The bridge does not come off. Oh,
ooh,
it's glued.
Tricky.
Yeah. So did you not sand? Because if you didn't sand, I would not suggest going any further. Yeah. You could, like Pat. Hi, Patrick. Oh, that's Pat. Never seen it, Patrick. Yes, you could put it on the back of the guitar. You could shrink it and put it below the bridge.
He just said, should I put it on the back and do some time for roses and skulls on the front? Yeah, I think so. But that's your stream. Sorry.
But if you can't take off the bridge and pick guard, then have you been able to sand? Because unless this is a raw guitar, which you can buy raw guitars, unless it's a raw guitar, it actually has a finish on it, of which you don't want to burn on.
Yeah.
So, but the back side of the guitar, yes, you could sand with no issues.
He says he sanded
the whole thing. Huh.
And then also, like, I don't know what material bridges are made out of, but
it depends on the bridge.
Wouldn't you have a problem potentially with the heat from the pin, like melting or damaging the bridge? If
it's around it.
Close. Yeah.
Let's see here. It's an acoustic. I think most acoustics are either wood or plastic for the bridge. Yeah, this is plastic. It's been a long time. And how did you transfer? Is it graphite or is it carbon? It's actually quite dark, so I'm going to guess maybe carbon. Because unfortunately that's going to be hard to remove. Do we know what kind of wood the guitar is?
Don't know. That's a lot of questions. Beryl's back. She says she's about 5 minutes behind now.
Oh no. It's a wooden bridge. Okay. It's also painted. We have to watch the paint. I do think your pattern would look better on the back. And then to do maybe some smaller wrapping around the bridge, but away from the bridge or around the sound hole. As long as pick guards here. Yeah, I think around the sound hole would also be fine, or even
it says the pick guard comes off.
The pick guard comes off. But it looks like it's got a decorative pick guard that's probably pretty, so you would do something, I think, that would kind of go with the pick guard.
Carbon.
It's carbon. Shit. Okay, so you're going to look at a lot of erasing and then a bit of sanding.
Maple.
It's maple.
And no, I don't? What is that in reference to?
Maple is for...
No, look at chat.
Carbon, and no, I don't.
I don't know what that's in reference to.
Scott, can you... I don't know what I said. And then alcohol to wipe it off to get the carbon.
Can you explain why the carbon for the folks? Because I know that's something that's important. Or why not carbon?
For the carbon, besides the fact that it's hard to remove off your wood, it's also wax and petroleum based, and burning over it can be toxic. And I know you're using the Versatile, but that can still gum up your tip and cause issues. Now, he asked about shading, so now that we've kind of discussed the... Because that's the biggest question I had was if the bridge removes, if it's sanded. I do think you could, like Pat said, go with a bigger one on the back, and it would be like super cool. And then roses is somewhere, or roses and skulls, you could do like a smaller, almost like a chain of roses and skulls to match and kind of tie it together. And that would look, and you could do that on the front, and that would look super cool too. For shading, the Versatile, if I gotta use it, the Versatile tip that I like is the spade. This is what I use. Actually, I use this if I'm going to burn with this. I use it for everything. I did sand off the end because sometimes there's a little ball. I sanded it off to remove it because the ball can put a bigger indent in the wood. Now for realism, the first thing for realism, you don't want to outline it. Trust me, your graphite or carbon lines are not going anywhere. You're okay to start your shading right off the bat. And you've got your shading laid out, I think, really well on your sketch. So you know where you're going with that. And based on what I'm seeing, the light source is going to be coming from the top right or left. So we know that. For your skull, start with lower heat. I know the Versatile can take a while to heat up and whatnot. But start with the lower heat. We didn't know what the wood...
maple.
No, Burl's is maple.
Oh.
That's what he was saying. It's maple.
Okay. So no Kurgan, no Victor. The coffee's not kicking in.
No, probably quite the opposite. Start off light because you can darken a lot easier. I guess I need to know if he's going to move it, because if he is, then I'm going to focus on his drawing instead of on the...
I'm so tired. I freaked out because, like, no, you're drawing on his guitar.
That is tired. Oh, boy. I'm just going to switch over to your drawing, because that will probably be easier, and you've got it. So, for realism, if you look at the skull, there are no lines.
Well,
there's planes of shading.
Is that his intent, though?
Yes,
oh, okay.
That's what he posted.
Okay.
Unless you want to do more of a tattoo outlined for the skull and more realism for the rose part.
Ted says most acoustics are maple.
Most acoustics is maple. Well,
That's some very specific random information, Ted.
So maybe that's what Burl was also saying. So he's going to move to the back. Okay, so I'm going to focus on your drawing. Start off light. Don't outline unless you want more of a tattooed look. If you want a more tattooed look, then outlines are just fine, because it's the stylized. Start with low heat. Sand. How smooth did you sand the guitar? Because I know you're going to, if you haven't done the back, you're going to need to sand the back. I tend to sand to 400. So for me it would 220, 320, and 400. And then wipe off with alcohol. I use denatured alcohol, but I think Burl's using vodka.
That sounds like a good plan.
I know.
Just a little bit for the art, a little bit for me.
Watch your planes or the bones. You've got the really cool ridges here, and then you've got the temple, so that would be more indented. I think having your shading laid out like this, but not transferring the shading, will help.
He says it's down to 220.
Okay, I would go smoother than that because any tip will glide better. The smoother it is. So it would be the same as, say, colored pencil. It's going to glide on this paper smoother than it would watercolor paper, because even if I used hot press watercolor paper, that still has texture. So the smoother you can get, the smoother on sanding, the smoother your burn is going to be. So
it has a problem with like skipping and stuff?
It can have a problem with skipping, the blobs.
The blobs.
The blobs. In fact, may not burn right at all. If you can grab my rocks and under the elephant.
Rocks?
No, don't.
Where was the... Oh, they're right there.
So these are the little ones that I did
Rocks.
like 2 days ago. No.
Rocks?
No.
Rocks?
Don't.
No, what was I doing?
I know what you were going to go do.
I was not.
See this?
You're so suspicious.
These two, I did not... I hand sanded to 400, and if you notice, the burns are not smooth. Actually, it was these three. I didn't finish the other two, but these are sanded, and they are burning smoother. So that you will get more texture if you don't sand. And for your rose especially, you're going to want that smoother.
Greg says, for all burnings, wipe with denatured alcohol? Question?
I do that for the wood before I burn, and I do it after. And what it does is it just cleans up the wood, because I have in the past had an issue when I was varnishing and I was brush varnishing. I didn't spray anything first. That when I would brush, all of a sudden my wood was getting even darker because part of the burning, the carbon from the burning, was actually being picked up by the sponge brush and being transferred to other parts of the wood.
So that loose carbon residue.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So if you wipe it off with the alcohol, you remove that residue, and you'll have a cleaner seal varnish.
Cleaner seal.
Cleaner
That's what
seal.
happens when you give your seal a bath.
Yep.
Cleaner seal.
So I would follow your shading. You've got it down really well. This is going to look so cool.
It is.
I can't wait to see it finished. Let's see here.
I like, because it looks initially like the rose is behind the skull, but then the skull
it turns
is the rose.
That's right. So you've already designated your lighting. Let's see here. I think, Scott, do you have a background in drawing? Because then he already knows how to shade. He's got a background. You don't gotta go over that.
I have a background in napping with minor experience in lounging.
So start off light. That's going to be impatience.
You're like, oh my god.
I just whatever. So light as we go.
Pat says if you can polish your tip and get an oxide layer after that, that'll help too. I don't know what that means. But I understand polishing the tip. But I don't know what he means about an oxide layer.
I'm sure he'll explain.
Please explain.
There's no background. Should I put one? Okay, this is going to go on the back. No, I don't. I think you'll have enough darks and lights in it that, no, I don't think it would need a background. I mean, if you want to put a background, go for it. But as a need one, no, I don't think it needs one.
I think that if you ended up putting a background, you'd have to end up doing a vignette.
Yeah.
And then the guitar is an odd shape, and that's always a weird proposition when you're doing graphics on objects.
Yeah.
So I think that the design of the skull is strong enough to carry the composition into the guitar.
I agree.
Oh,
I agree.
I'm tired now.
I mean, if anything, if you wanted a little something in the background, you might be able... Let's see, how would you do it? You got... Where's our eye traveling? We got the stem taking us up to the eyes. We got the leaves actually kind of taking us out or down the stem. Which
I think that if you go, I think that the rose kind of like brings you back in.
It does. Because I was thinking that maybe if you wanted to, you could put ghost notes. And when I mean ghost notes, just lightly put them in.
I don't know. I don't.
If you wanted something for the background. If you don't want something for the background.
I see what you're saying.
Just to tie it in.
It's already on a guitar, though.
I really don't think it needs anything. I really don't.
Okay, so in regards to oxide layer, Pat says just get it hot enough so it skins up an oxide layer on the metal.
Okay.
On brass, it's just a bit duller and translucent than the base metal.
Yeah. Did you draw this, Scott? Did we find that out?
No, we have not.
Because I saw that Ted asked if his tattoo flash. So, I will wait to see what Scott says.
He drew it on the guitar.
Huh?
He drew it on the guitar, right?
Yeah, but Ted's wanting to know if this is the pattern on the piece of paper.
Mm.
If it was taken from Flash and transferred over.
Gotcha.
That's all. So, and I'll wait to see if he has any other questions. Yeah, I was supposed to do a guitar years ago. Drew out the pattern. They loved it. And then they found out their friend had a laser machine.
Mm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That could burn it into the guitar. So they ended up paying me for my pattern. And I didn't do the work.
Mm.
Was not a happy camper about that.
I think Scott's saying no, he didn't draw it.
Okay.
TLT Coin Hunter says, hi everyone.
Hi.
And I guess that's Tim. Because Ozark says, hey Tim, good to see you.
Tim.
I don't know.
I don't either. Tim, do I know you? If I do, hello. And if I don't, hello. Okay, I'm getting tired. My eyes are burning.
That's interesting. Pat says, if you don't have a variable heat control, a cheap light dimmer works good for that.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I did not know that.
It just acts as a, can't think of the word. Can't think of it.
A regulator?
Yes, it acts as it's a regulator.
Ooh.
Like I have a regulator for stained glass, for my soldering iron for stained glass.
And TLT's Coin Hunter says, yes, it is Tim. But I know that doesn't answer any of your questions. So.
I'm just waiting to see if Scott's got anything else, and then I think we shall call. Well, thank you for coming.
Are some who call him Tim?
Alright, Scott said, on the other questions, I got all the tips I need from you, and this is my second guitar. I did an electric Strat with a tribal rose and flame burned look around the edges.
Oh, that'd be cool
awesome.
To see.
I'll have to look in the group, see if he's posted in the group.
Okay.
Because all of these critiques are from people in my Drawing with Fire group that I have listed in the description down below. And if you're watching on someplace that you can't see the description, just search Facebook for Drawing with Fire Pyrography group. Yeah, that's right. And come join us. Post your art. I can't wait to see all of these done. You guys have all done fantastic work. This is just so exciting. I love doing these because I really get to see all the beautiful work that you guys are doing.
It's very inspired.
It is. Let's see here.
Also makes me feel subpar.
You are not subpar.
I know.
Let's see here.
Kidding.
I don't know how to stack all these. Guinea's got two. I'll put the otter in the front because he did the king finger. He's like, well, Fisher, just in case. So we'll do this. And then World didn't come, did she?
No, I did
Bummer.
not see
She
her.
must be working. She didn't.
She's probably flying something somewhere.
She's probably flying something.
Probably didn't and barrel rolls in a commercial liner. If you look outside your window, you'll see the sky, the ground, the sky, the ground.
The sky again.
Sick bags are in front of you. Ozark said, I appreciate your tips and tricks. Value are awesome.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. And I can't get everybody on screen.
Pat says, hey, flames would be cool for the skull rose.
It would.
Yeah. Flames are hard, though. Like,
they are hard.
Like, there's different kinds of flames, and they, it can be easy, it can be hard.
Look at Burls. Just by adding some of the white, it gives...
Yep, I see that.
You know, same with the otter.
Yep.
You know,
it's amazing.
What a little contrast will do, huh? Mm-hmm. So if we don't have any more questions, I think we're going to go ahead and end it here on Tuesday. Can I have the elephants on the wood? No, that one. Yep, that one. I said I would start to redo my original burning from 13 years ago, but I don't have the line work, and I was going to redo it, but then I found this one, so I am going to start burning this one on Tuesday. Still got 4 elephants, we got some grass, but I like the feeling of this one actually better, so that is what we will be doing on Tuesday. I need to get it transferred and started. The wood that I'm going to be using, the wood that was sitting on, please. Thank you. Is an 8x10 Trekell birch. I should have the Trekell link down in the description below. This is short grain, meaning the grain's going up and down, which is totally fine. But that is what these beauties are going on, and I've decided, because elephants started me on my journey, that when this piece sells, a portion of the piece will be donated to an elephant rescue.
That's awesome.
In order to help them continue their journey. So if anybody's interested, it's there if you want it. Alright guys, don't forget you're awesome. You can do this. You are a pyro artist. Have a great night. Bye.
Rock lobster. Oh, good night.